Joining us on the line, Super Bowl champion Rex Burkhead. Rex, I see you rocking the Nebraska golf polo. How do you feel about your Cornhuskers going into year 2 of the Matt Rhule era?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm hopeful. I think he's got him going in the right direction. I know he's working his tail off. Brought in a big time recruit at quarterback, so I think some others should follow. And I'm hopeful for him. And we'll see what happens. But I know the state of Nebraska is excited, and yeah, the Nebraska polo. Of course, my guy Larry the Cable Guy here as well. So had to represent. Yeah.
Gotta ask, because we heard Matt Rhule talk about the cost of the modern college quarterback. Did you help pony up for the old Nebraska?
Yeah, you chip it in for the quarterback.
I would say I'm not a part of that at all. I wish I could say it, but no, it's cool to see him there. It just gets the state excited, the football team excited, and like I said, hopefully some other big time players come around.
Well, if you talk to Matt Rhule, we do have Larry the Cable Guy's email, cell phone. So if he's looking to get some NIL donations, we can send that Matt Rhule's way. I saw you playing around with Larry, who's been on the show, friend of the program, and John Daly. I mean, that must have been a great grouping. What was it like playing with a golf legend like John Daly?
Yeah, well, we actually didn't get to play together. We just got to see each other right before. I played the morning, they played the afternoon. But it's awesome seeing them out here. And I did see John tee off on the first hole. I think he was having lunch like 3 minutes before he teed off, and then just hit an absolute bomb, probably about 330 yards down the middle of the fairway. So, yeah, it's impressive. These guys are unreal. And, of course, having Larry here, another Nebraska guy, makes it even that much more special.
Now, of course, you were playing in the Invited Celebrity Classic coming up this weekend here. How do you feel about your chances going into this tournament? You got Tony Romo, where I'm an Eagles fan. My co-host is a Giants
big
fan.
Tony Romo hater.
Yeah, so. I mean, so we're always rooting for someone to dethrone Romo here. Could it be the Rex Burkhead year to win the Invited Celebrity Classic?
Man, that's a tough challenge. It is, and with my game, it can be up and down. So, yeah, with him, the winner last year, and knowing how good his games, John Smoltz, Marty Fish, those guys play, I'm going to have some personal record type days for 3 straight days.
I would just go the route of chirping everyone. I got nothing to lose. I got nothing to lose.
Yeah, be one of those guys.
Right. Yeah, I'm locally from here, and so I got some buddies coming out, so I may have to have them follow, those other guys around, and, do it's like Gilmore get in their head, and
like Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, Happy Gilmore, where he hired that guy to heckle Happy the entire time. Well, and Ryan, maybe it's not too late. We get a ticket down to Dallas.
Let's go.
Rex, kicks us a couple bucks. We heckle Tony. We would heckle Tony for free. But no, I mean, sounds like a great tournament. Again, what is it about I feel like the pitchers and quarterbacks always seem to do well in these celebrity golf events. What do you think it is about them that their game translates to golf so well?
Yeah, I don't know. Being more of a skill position player, running back, having to have some muscles. I would like to say it's because they don't have as many muscles as us. But also I know the pitchers, they pitch sometimes once a week and they're able to go play some golf, even during the season. So that helps their game out a little bit. And then the quarterbacks, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because they get invited to all these big time tournaments. I mean, they're just good. They are. And usually the kickers, I play with Steve Gostkowski in New England.
Yeah, kickers too. Yeah.
Yeah, Kaimi Fairbairn and Houston. They're both, excellent golfers. And so I don't know what it is. I just like to say it's because they're not as muscly bound as us. And, that's my excuse.
Yeah, they're not in the weight room like Rex. Putting in, getting the lifts in.
So got to get back to college. You're wearing the Nebraska colors. Coach Prime has brought Colorado back. Do you feel like this is helping bring the rivalry back in general?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Having a big time name there, I miss those days. I did 2 years in the Big 12, 2 years in the Big 10. And so I do miss that Nebraska Colorado rivalry. And, now that he's there, it's kind of bringing it back. And of course, Matt Rhule, being a big time coach coming in, and both teams, I feel like probably on the rise, and it should make that game even more exciting.
So I got to ask you a question about your playing time in Nebraska, 2009. I don't actually know, you were a freshman. You traveled to Blacksburg, Virginia to take on the Hokies. Tyrod led the offense on an amazing comeback at the end of the game against Ndamukong Suh. How did that experience? How did the Blacksburg Lane Stadium crowd rank in terms of your away games? Because you played in a lot of big time places, Ohio State, to name a few. How did Blacksburg rank?
Man, it's up there, and honestly, that was my first like away game, big time experience at a huge program. And I remember, opening kickoff, they got the hard rock music, people banging on the side, and it was loud as can be. And it was a great game. I remember getting a kick return at the end of the game, like, oh, I'm going to be the difference maker, take this one back. I got up about 20 yards and just got smacked. I was a freshman, big-eyed, and just trying to do the best I could, but it's definitely up there in playing experiences for sure.
And that was a bit of the heyday for the running back position out there in Nebraska. You kind of took the baton from Roy Halou. You handed it off to Abdullah after that. It just seems like, hopefully Matt Rhule can get it back, because Nebraska football back then was real grinded out, nasty football.
You mentioned the kick return. What do you make of the new NFL kick return rule? I know a bunch of the old guys on our network are all upset about the rule, that it's changing. What's your take on the new rule? Do you think it's actually safer? Do you think it's going to be entertaining? What's your take?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's almost changing too much.
Yeah.
When I first got in the league, I was doing a lot of special teams. And so I was running down, going against 2-man wedges, 200-300 pounders, trying to blast them. And, probably not, of course, the safest thing in the world, but also understand that was a part of the game. And so, without really giving the, decision one way or the other on it, I think it's almost doing too much. And you really have to look at, holding some of the tradition of the game, but also improving the safety and just finding common ground on it. And at times on some of the decisions that are made, I feel like it's too much, get a little soft at times. And so that's
I mean, as a guy who went down there and busted some wedges, you got to be kind of annoyed. Oh, they're getting rid. When Rex decides to hang it up, then you get rid of the wedge.
Even worse than that, it's like the whole that. That's part of how some guys get on the team and make a difference to coaches.
Exactly.
And are able to show the coach what they're all about. So yeah, I mean, to your point, I think the too much altering of the fabric of the game is a good way to put it.
We're getting stoked here. Obviously, NFL draft coming up next week. Is there maybe there's a running back that's on your radar that you think could be an interesting prospect at the next level? Maybe there's a guy at Nebraska that you think is someone we should keep an eye on in the NFL draft. Is there anyone at the college level right now coming into the draft that you think maybe we should be keeping an eye on?
Oh man, I'm trying to think. There's so many good ones out there. I mean, I feel like you got a good amount of quarterbacks right now. Honestly, I don't watch the college game as much as I have in the past, just being removed kind of from it all. But also there's some quarterbacks coming up, from the Texas. You got the Manning coming up soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers. I mean, watching them, seeing kind of how they operate, I feel like they're pretty good players. And, of course, being from Texas, I hear about them all the time as well, and being around here. But man, it's tough to choose one. Of course, I'm always rooting for my running backs to get taken. And
what do you think? Now they're projecting a running back won't be taken in the first round. What do you think about the game slowly? Maybe not valuing the running back as much. It's a lot of receiver love these days. What does a guy like Rex Burkhead think of that?
I don't like it. I just feel like running backs, they do so much. And like, we're not just guys who run the ball. We have to be able to pass protect. Be able to, go out, run routes, catch the ball. I mean, we do a lot of things, and especially that pass protection, if someone gets through the line or whatever, we're there to help keep your, $100 million quarterback, whatever he's making, safe. And so, that's a pretty big deal. And I get it, like, the injuries or whatever. But at the same time, we're kind of the one position where productivity hurts us and your age hurts us. And so I always have love in my heart for running backs. And I'm always going to fight for them.
Yeah, it's a tread on the tire thing. It's kind of messed up. But I mean, even like a player like yourself, right? Pass protection, being able to catch the ball out of the backfield. feels like it's a little bit more than just the running back. But bringing it back to the draft, you were a 6th round pick back in 2013. What was your process like, the build up and then, kind of that weekend of the draft?
Yeah, a lot of, anxious thoughts going on, of course. Just you're hearing so many things. You're hearing early rounds, you're hearing later rounds. I mean, whatever it was. My senior year, I had been, had a knee injury I was dealing with, and so I was like thinking, oh man, it's gonna be a little later. And then, I remember not getting it that first day, and then later on that second day, nothing. And then it was getting late. It was getting that 5th round, 6th round, still no call. And I just go out back. I had a couple buddies over, and we just started playing basketball. And I was like, if I get a call, I get a call. And then all of a sudden, my mom runs out with the phone. She's like, hey, it's Cincinnati Bengals on the phone. And of course, it's Coach Lewis, telling me I'm a Bengal. So pretty unreal experience. Something you dream about as a little kid, and finally get that call. Nothing better.
When you hear people do the whole, like, I'm just going to distract myself. That's what I would do. I go play golf. Like, I don't need this sauce right now. Like,
well, there was a story that Brady like walked around the neighborhood with like a bat, just like pacing, which doesn't seem the healthiest way to kill time. Rex had it right. Just play a little pickup basketball, get your mind elsewhere, and knock on wood. Because what is it? The watch pot won't boil.
Yeah, and great accidental transition because Rex was in New England for the season following the Tom Brady career, at least in New England. Cam Newton coming in, all that. What was it like to be there for that kind of changing of the guard?
Yeah, it was different. I mean, a lot of things happened. Of course, we had the COVID, going on too, and so we didn't have spring OTAs or anything, and so it was all virtual. And Cam was awesome though. I really enjoyed him as a teammate. Such a hard worker, great guy to be able to compete with and go to work with every day. And it was tough because he came in, not having OTAs to be able to throw to your receivers or learn the playbook, really how you should. And then, finally get together in training camp. And as a quarterback, learning the New England playbook, it's not easy. And so he really did a good job just studying up as much as he could and, learn as quick as possible. So it was different not having Tom around, of course. He's an unbelievable player, best, quarterback to ever play the game. And that was a great experience. But yeah, it was different for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, most of us would just want to be that person in the room to watch Bill and Cam have a conversation because it just seems like the dichotomy of energy is just unbelievable.
Now, obviously, you won the Super Bowl, your Super Bowl ring with the Patriots there, 2018 season, 13-3 win against the Rams. What have you? Now they just made a documentary about the Patriots. Have you had a chance to watch it? Are you interested in checking it out?
I've watched it. It's kind of cool to see the backstory behind it all. I also feel like there's some, seasons and stuff, kind of missed out on it or whatever. But to see some highlights throughout the years was pretty neat. But like I said, I feel like there's some things missing too and experiences. But it's kind of weird, being one who was actually there when, some of the years there, kind of later in the dynasty. But yeah, I mean, I'm just grateful for my experience there. Couldn't ask for a better 4 years. Being able to play in a couple Super Bowls was unbelievable, and just being surrounded, by the players. Coach Belichick was unbelievable, and being able to learn under him was unbelievable.
Yeah, do you have like everyone who played for Belichick just has positive stuff to say about him? It's I guess interesting choice. Not enough of that maybe was featured in the documentary, but do you have like a particular Belichick story where he was coaching you up, or like a funny moment? What, like, is there one moment when you think of your time in New England with Bill Belichick that really stood out above the rest?
Oh man, there's so many. I mean, Bill, he's just so smart. I mean, I really just coming in on Wednesday meetings and him breaking down like the opposing team. Like he knew everything about every single player, every single person in that organization. I mean, ownership, it doesn't matter. He knew it all. And then he would ask us questions. And so I just will never forget those Wednesday meetings because it made you be so prepared, because he didn't ask you. And if you didn't know the answer, you kind of feel like you let the team down, you're embarrassing yourself. And so, but just his knowledge of the game and every single person, it could be someone they just picked up that week. He knew their whole backstory, what high school they went to, if they switched positions. I mean, it was just so impressive. And like I said, grateful to, be a player, actually have that opportunity to play for him.
We've heard multiple like high level coaches refer to their time with Belichick as like he continually would have to pause to make sure we could catch up because he was just
well, that's got to be pretty intense though, because Belichick, you're just sitting there going over the game plan, but I would imagine any moment he's like, Rex, what's the blitz pickup here? Exactly. If they audible, and you're just like, all right, I got to nail this. Yes. I got to imagine that's a ton of pressure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Keeps you accountable, keeps you on your toes, but ultimately brings out the best in you.
Yes. Well, Rex, appreciate the time, and good luck in the Invited Celebrity Classic. I know we'll be rooting for you, and thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys.